author of this great book, Fight the Right. I love this line. A manual for surviving the coming conservative apocalypse.
Yeah, and it's probably here already, the conservative apocalypse.
What inspired you to write this book?
Just conservatives winning. You know, if you look at the European Union, you look at the Americas, conservatives have been winning campaigns in a way that they never have before. And so why is that?
Why is that?
Well, I mean, it's particularly interesting when you consider the progressives. Most voters, like in Canada, in the order of about 60% of voters consider themselves progressives, whether New Democrats or Liberals. But conservatives are winning, you know, at the national and provincial and municipal level. So why is that? And the two main reasons I come up with in the book is, number one, conservatives have just gotten better at communicating. You know, they speak with clarity and passion about everyday people. And then the second thing they do is they talk about values. They talk about everyday values. So, you know, the stuff of life, hopes and dreams and aspirations, and sometimes fears and resentments. They're quite good at that. And they, you know, have been cleaning our clock, you know, since about the 60s, if you look at all these different races.
So conversely, what do the Liberals say? What is their message? Is it flawed in some way versus that clarity of the values that the Conservatives are putting forth that clearly is working?
Well, you know, if you, I spoke to a Democratic pollster in the book, and what he found was most voters, for example, on this values notion, feel that they're in sync with a Liberal or a Democratic politician in the United States, but they don't feel that the progressive option understands their life. So this is why you see here in Canada, you know, Stephen Harper devoting so much time to being the Tim Hortons kind of hockey dad everyman, even though he probably isn't. He's just as much of an intellectual as Michael Ignatieff was. You know, he's a trained economist, obviously a very bright man, but he's cultivated this personality because he knows that's what motivates voters to put their X beside your name more than anything else.
To feel that kindred sort of experience. So Justin Trudeau comes on the scene.
Yeah.
Causes quite a wave. Some people went, this is fantastic, and others went, he wouldn't be there if not for his famous father. Your thoughts?
I think that I've known Justin for a long time, and he's a very decent guy, and you know, obviously comes from privilege. He's a very wealthy family, powerful family. But when he gave his speech on that Tuesday night in Montreal announcing his candidacy, he kind of did the two things that I talked about in the book, which is he spoke with clarity and conviction. He used a lot of passion to express himself. And he talked, he must have done it 24 times, over and over about values. He talked about middle-class values, which is kind of funny because, you know, he's never been part of the middle class himself. Yeah. But it just gave him this enormous boost. And then he traveled out west and did the same thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are so excited about him is, unlike Ignatieff, unlike Stéphane Dion, he's not this cloistered academic who doesn't get their lives. He's somebody who is trying to understand their lives, and that, you know, that's the key to success. And
he has been consistently busy and active in communities and for environmental issues across the country, and has always stood ahead of, while he could have just been counting his money in a really nice mansion somewhere. He could. He doesn't have to work this hard.
And that point you make is exactly the main thing, the main preoccupation of young voters. You know, young voters, as you know, have been drifting away from democracy for 20 years now, in both Canada and the United States. The candidates that they're attracted to are the ones who do the things that you just described, which is community service and working at that level, not as political hacks.
Right.
So the guy who did that in 2008 was Barack Obama, right? Community organizer. He was proud of it. Yeah. And Justin talking about being a school teacher. The Conservatives have made fun of him, but I think they've made a mistake because a lot of young people find that attractive.
Let's touch briefly on Barack Obama and Mitt Romney and the U.S. We've only got a minute here to dive into this a little bit, but with Hurricane Sandy hitting the East Coast, how differently these two battling for the Oval Office really are handling things.
Well, you know better than me. You know, politics is about pictures, TV is about pictures. So the pictures this morning we've all been seeing and you've been showing is the president, you know, he's taking the tie off, he's sitting down working the phones with all the storm management people. And Romney, I think, has made a huge mistake. He'll probably correct it by the end of the day, but he's still campaigning. And as a result, he kind of looks like a bit of a jerk. You know, he's insensitive. Like, this is affecting drawing millions of people on.
Storm the size of Texas.
That's right.
Hitting the biggest city in the world.
And this is, you had nearly 500,000 people evacuated from New York City yesterday afternoon. So that is the political story. So there's Obama talking about an issue that matters to people's lives, and Romney's off doing something else. And I think that's a potential mistake for him.
Counting money and looking for his tax return so he can do what Donald Trump asks.
That's
okay,
right.
Warren Kinsella, the name of the book, A Manual for Surviving the Coming Conservative Apocalypse. Fight the Right. Get this book. And you've got an event coming up?
At Cap College tonight, or Cap University, I guess it's called now.
It is funny. I make that same mistake all the time. You're showing your age, me and you. All right. Capilano University, Center for Performing Arts, 7:30?
Yeah,
Yes.
7:30.
Excellent. Thank you for
Great.
coming.
Thanks for having me.
We could talk
Pleasure.
We could talk all morning.